Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2014. This is Tech Talk Today, episode 82. My name is Chris. Go ahead.
Well, this is interesting. My name is Angela.
There you go. I thought, you know what? I don't need to introduce you every time. And since you're here twice this week, we should change it up.
Here I am.
And not only that, since you're here twice this week, we also have another Kickstarter
Which
of the week.
is awesome.
What do you mean? You know what it is?
No.
Did you look? Did you peek, Angela?
No, I like doing the Kickstarter thing.
Yeah, I know I do too.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we also have some serious news we're going to get into. So what we've done is we actually went out and hired a scouting agency to find the best people, the most qualified internet citizens to comment on our stories, and you won't believe it. They ended up finding the same old mumble room that we always have. Time-appropriate greetings, mumble room.
Good morning.
I was going to say something about the pay, but then I realized you weren't talking about me.
All right, let's start with our first story today. The FBI created a fake Seattle Times webpage to nab a bomb threat suspect. A Seattle Times webpage at this. So get this. The FBI in Seattle, our local city, created a fake news story on a bogus Seattle Times webpage to plant software in the computer of a suspect in a series of bomb threats he was sending to Lacey Timberline High School in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, this is according. This was unknown until documents that were obtained by the EFF. So here's what we found out. This was actually published on Monday, and we found out that the EFF documents reveal the FBI dummied up a story with an Associated Press byline about Thurston County bomb threats with an email link in the style of the Seattle Times, including details about subscriber and advertiser information. So it looked like a legit URL. The URL was then sent to the suspect's MySpace account. When the suspect clicked on the link, the hidden FBI software sent his location and internet protocol information, so his IP address, to FBI agents. And it was a juvenile, and he was arrested on June 14th.
How did they even know that he would click on it or that it would get to him?
Because it was kind of a story about him a little bit, because it was about bomb threats in the county where he'd been making bomb threats.
But wouldn't other people have clicked on it? Like, how would...
They sent it specifically to his MySpace profile.
Oh, okay.
He was, using MySpace back then.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
So then when the Seattle Times found out, they released a statement saying that they were outraged that the FBI, with the apparent assistance of the U.S. Attorney's Office, misappropriated the name of the Seattle Times to secretly install spyware on computers of suspects. Really?
Yeah.
I would be livid if somebody faked a dummy Jupiter Broadcasting page to install malware on somebody's computer.
No, you know what? It was one person.
Yeah.
If it was like what I thought before you said that it was sent directly to him, if it was like
catching anybody
put on the web,
yeah,
and
right. Well, the Seattle Times thinks it's a major issue. They say our reputation and ability to do our job as a government watchdog are based on trust. Nothing is more fundamental to that trust than our independence from law enforcement, from government, and from corporations. They worried it makes it look like the Seattle Times was complicit and working in hand with the government on this. So they're worried about their reputation.
Yeah.
Well, it also looks like entrapment a lot.
It sounds illegal.
It sounds like impersonating another business would be illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think.
But a business isn't a person. So you can't impersonate a business.
But so much.
If you can impersonate a business, then
everywhere.
Yeah, then Chick-fil-A. No, Hobby Lobby.
Well, you could though. Like if you set up a knockoff of Hobby Lobby, they would come after you.
No. I'm not listing companies that we could duplicate. I'm referring to their turning down of women's insurance coverage because, it was They in that case they determined that the business was a person.
Huh. Yeah, and you know what the other funny thing is the chat room points out is the Seattle Times is reporting the story about the Seattle Times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny too. I think it's bogus, but you do have to stop and ask yourself, where do you draw the line? Like if there's somebody threatening to bomb a high school and the FBI can find this guy by tricking him, by stroking his ego and saying, here's a story about these bombings in this area. Check this out. And he's like, oh, let me read this. And they capture him. Well, that's kind of a price that was worth it, don't you think, in some way?
I think so. I don't...
In some way, at the same time, how much would have been taken to ask for the Seattle Times cooperation on this?
But wouldn't that be worse?
They wouldn't have wanted to.
Wouldn't that be worse if they did work in hand with the government like that? Because they're supposed to be the watchdog. They're not supposed to be complicit.
Maybe that's what it is.
Impartial.
Maybe they are upset that they weren't worked with, because that would have been a great piece. This is how they did it, and blah blah blah. We have the inside scoop.
Maybe. I guess you could spin it like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, be curious to hear the audience's thoughts. You can leave a comment in our subreddit, techtalktoday.reddit.com. I want to do a follow-up on what we're calling the NFC payment wars, or contactless payment is the other term they like to use. Remember yesterday we talked about currency?
Yep.
well. There's a little twist that we didn't quite dig into that I think is pretty important to the story.
Okay.
It turns out that the retailers that are part of this currency consortium, which is called MCX, are legally or at least contractually bound to reject other types of payment systems. So as part of their contract, when they all came together to come up with this currency system, they all signed on the dotted line saying that they wouldn't have competing wireless payment systems in their stores.
Okay.
So they're contractually obligated.
You know, who cares?
I know.
Like
I know.
I mean, it's just one more bonehead mistake, really.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just, what are we watching here?
So another thing, by the way, this currency system, the retailers involved, so we have Rite Aid and Walmart and CVS and a few others. There's actually quite a bit of others. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I have the picture of how you would use this stupid QR-based payment system up on the screen. They also have all collectively agreed to share all of your purchasing information amongst each other.
Oh, wow.
So they will know. So Rite Aid will know what you bought at CVS.
Yeah, this is nah.
So they will collect.
That sounds anti-competitive.
It's like collaboration. It's collusion. So that way they can work on marketing and tracking the customers. So there is a huge data aspect to currency that Google Wallet and Apple Pay pull away from them.
I'm so not using
Sounds like
those.
It sounds like there's a huge potential price fixing issue too.
Yeah, interesting. And then think about like as they could add features to this app. Like what if that app, when you launch it to scan that QR code, also captures all of the Wi-Fi hotspots around you, or takes a GPS snapshot of where you're at.
Right.
Then they know where you were at when you bought all this stuff. I mean, they can really track the hell out of you with this kind of thing. And last but not least, I will point out, and then we'll move on from the topic. I just wanted to follow up on it, and we have more information in the show notes. And it appears that any of these organizations could leave this consortium if they wanted to. There does not appear to be a fine for that.
Well, that's good.
If you're in the consortium, though, there is a major fine if you have a competing system. So that's why they shut down the NFC. Anyways, my last point is currency excludes MasterCard and Visa from the game. Their system, in some ways, does more damage to the credit card company, so they're going to be pushing back on this.
Wait a second. So you can't use your...
When you use currency,
it's
linked directly to your checking.
No. I don't want to use that.
Right. When you use Apple Pay or Google Wallet, it's attached to your...
That's also not what I'm saying. Can you still use your debit card? Like,
Yeah,
are they still
of
going to have a
course.
swipe? Oh, okay. All right.
Of course.
Well, I don't know. I mean...
Oh, yeah. No, they're not. Because you couldn't. You would exclude the majority of the customers.
I know. Yeah, that's... Okay.
Yeah. So that'll... I mean, and you can still use cash.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is we want something better, right?
Right.
So that's why it's just interesting, because we are obviously at the early days of this. In 5 years... This is all going to be like little tiny bits that all just fade into history, and we'll have a system in place. But right now, we're at the very beginning stages where we're watching something brand new be implemented. It's fascinating to see the little itty-bitty details that matter in this whole thing. Speaking of details that matter, the FTC is suing AT&T. This was a popular one sent in by the audience, and they're suing over that claim of unlimited data. The Federal Trade Commission is suing AT&T because the carrier claimed unlimited data to their customers, a policy that the FTC described as deceptive and unfair in a press release. The FTC said AT&T has misled millions of smartphone customers by slowing down their data speeds after they've used up a certain amount of data in a single month. AT&T has failed to make its throttling policies clear enough, according to their complaint. The issue here is simple, at least according to the FTC chairwoman. Unlimited means unlimited. Now, AT&T has released a strongly worded statement. They say that the FTC's complaint is baffling, and they state that the allegations are baseless and that they have been completely transparent with customers. Here's what they say. The FTC's allegations are baseless and have nothing to do with the substance of our network management program. It is baffling that the FTC would choose to take this action against a company.
You know what? No, because when I am about to hit my data limit, my Wi-Fi suddenly stops working. Like, I
think there's a...
I feel like...
That's messed up.
Yeah, I feel like... Because it's like, you know...
I think it's we have too much Wi-Fi in our area.
Well, maybe, but it's really coincidental that it always happens at the end of the month, right when my data is almost,
Or that's just when you notice it because you're hypersensitive. No. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No, it's happened like, the last 3 months, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, all right. So we'll see where that goes. The FTC is known for usually going after these kinds of things pretty aggressively. I think what it'll come down to is what customers thought they were getting at the time they signed up, and I think that's where AT&T might have a losing case.
Well, there were enough cases for the FTC to look into it, first of all, and second of all, it was probably people in our audience, tech-savvy people that can do a data...
look at their data usage and be like, hey,
the speed.
Oh, speed
right?
tests.
Yeah, and speed tests at different points of their data and the time of their...
Well, and I actually think AT&T now sends you a text that says, you have used 3 gigs of your unlimited plan, and you will now be throttled.
What?
Yeah, I think they actually send a text now to unlimited customers.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
okay.
And then you get throttled by 90% in some cases.
Okay, well, if
so it's
they
like 2G.
literally say that...
That's not even unlimited.
No.
You're getting throttled at any point.
How can they say that it's baseless and not true if they're sending texts saying...
Well, because they say unlimited is a marketing term.
Oh, okay.
And that,
okay.
Which, I mean,
those jerks.
It is unlimited. It's just slower after 3 gigs.
That's
very,
ridiculous.
very slower. Yeah.
So the advert could be removed.
Right.
Wow.
So unlimited does not mean unlimited.
No.
Basically what I've been saying all along.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crap. And, there's a lot of people that go through a lot of hoops to keep these. So AT&T... I believe, I could be wrong on this, only offered unlimited data for like a year when they got the iPhone. And as part of their deal with Apple, Apple said, this is going to be a lot of data usage, so let's do unlimited data. And they didn't want to do it, and Steve Jobs got them to do it, and then they pulled it after a year. But some of those people have kept it after all of that time.
Right.
And they've, avoided upgrade fees and all of these kinds of things. And so like they grasp onto it. And I think it's like a needle in the side of AT&T. They just hate it.
That's a great title suggestion there, The Cost of Unlimited, because it reminds me of the Walmart book, the High Price of Low Cost or something,
Yeah, although I want to take a step back because I want to play devil's advocate for a little bit. As somebody who's managed some networks in the past, like there is a point where if you give people too much, they abuse it. Like they set up torrents and servers,
sure.
and they
right.
we have people that we met at Ohio Linux Fest that exclusively use their mobile data to download all of their stuff because their mobile plan is faster.
In HD.
Yeah. And what did he say? How many gigs?
I think he said 20, and he was lowballing it.
Yeah, 20 gigs, and he lowballs it, and that's what he uses a month on his mobile is 20 gigs.
Yeah.
That's his primary. So if I was AT&T, see, the thing is cellular networks are a limited resource. There is only so much spectrum that all the phones can connect to at once. And if somebody is hogging more than, say, 15 other customers combined, that is a legitimate issue, I think.
Yeah, but not 3 gigs.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. That is totally, exactly. All right, Andrews, I'll tell you what's not ridiculous. Supporting the entire freaking Jupiter Broadcasting Network over at patreon.com/today. Patreon.com/today. And if you run over there, you can submit a pledge right now and get it in the October billing cycle. So you can support us for the whole month of October, right?
Yep.
And then also be in for November and December and lock it in towards the end of the year. Patreon.com/today is where we're crowdsourcing a huge portion of the Jupiter Broadcasting Network future endeavors, projects, expansions, hardware replacements, travel expenses, things like that. Patreon.com/today. Thank you, everyone, 406 of you who keep our shows on the network. And stay tuned. There's going to be some interesting things hitting that milestone page when I finally get down and just write it all out.
Yeah.
Whenever that happens.
We just need to have breakfast and pound them out.
You're right. We do. That would take it. That would be it right there. So patreon.com/today. Some interesting stuff will be coming. And if you enjoy some of our shows on the network, we would appreciate the support.
Also, don't feel bad if you can't commit to a monthly price or a monthly donation. If you do our swag, our merchandise stuff every once in a while, that's more than enough.
We understand. We understand.
We have a couple different ways that you can support. Even just listening and sharing is a way of supporting. So
that said, the Patreon page, one nice thing that's really great. I mean, the swag is awesome, but it's cyclical. Whereas the Patreon, we have some budget predictability, which is huge as a business for us, and lets us kind of plan longer term.
Yep.
All right, so I'm sorry, you guys. I'm giving in to one of my worser personality traits. I've tried not to get all butthurt about Windows 10 wholesale ripping off of so many things from Linux. We've got the Compiz effects to the Windows. We've got obviously the multi-virtual desktop stuff that Linux desktops have had for a long time. Now we know that they also have a package manager in Windows 10 that's very much like Linux's package managers. And now Microsoft has shown off for power users their new trackpad features that are just a whole-sale ripoff of OS X. I want to play this clip for you, and then let's talk about this.
I can grab my photos, and I'm going to snap them. Watch carefully on the edge. I'm going to snap them right here, and then I'm going to choose Bing up here. And the snap mode now works across multiple displays. So for you power users with multiple screens and you have muscle memory, we're going to make that all work across the board. Now, my last demo showing power users here, I'm going to switch over to this Surface Pro. And I think we should have do we have a camera coming out here to see the Surface Pro? One of the things that power users are getting familiar with is accelerators on a touchpad. And in the past, touchpads on Windows have really been done very differently because OEMs do them. With Windows 10, we're adding support for power users in a touchpad where multiple finger gestures, which all of you power users learn, can make you really efficient. So here I have the same scenario. I'm working on my PowerPoint deck. I've got a bunch of windows, and I've got a touchpad. If I want to make all these windows go away, think of what your hand might do to just say, Windows, go away. I'm going to use 3 fingers and say, go away. Voila, they're gone. Now I went to my desktop. Now I want to get all those windows back. 3 fingers, go up. Voila, they're all back. Super fast, super easy. Similarly, if I've got all these windows there and I want to see my task viewer to go to a different desktop, I move my 3 fingers up and I see my desktops. And then last, think about how you Alt-Tab, except now your hand's on the touchpad. Now we're providing a 3-finger way to go left and right and switch between whatever window you want. I can scrub here. I'll choose Word. I pick Word, and voila, up it comes. Really focusing on smoothing out the power user experience, making all these things work consistently on a wide range of hardware. So that's a quick look at how we're focusing on a user experience that customers will love. And for you, I tried to talk a little bit more about power user-y stuff. You'll see a lot more end-user features coming after the new year when we start talking about the consumer end of all this. But for now, I wanted you to get a sense of all that.
So
I can grab my photos.
So that is the new, I know, right? That hair, huh? So that is the Windows 10 wholesale ripoff of the Mac OS 10 features that have been in there since I think Apple went with the unibody MacBook Air, or I'm sorry, MacBook in general.
Yeah.
And so Windows 10, I'm sorry. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I can't. The name, it starts with the name. It's a cheap cop-out move to call it Windows 10. That bothers me. And then to wholesale rip off all this stuff. And by the way, to have to reverse on so many decisions that so many of us said was a bad idea for Windows 8. Mumble room. Anybody? Okay. Now, I'm not going to be judgy. Is anybody in here already running Windows 10 or kind of excited about Windows 10? Be honest.
I kind of want to look at it because, as far as I'm concerned, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So if they've already seen this from the Linux community and they want to adopt it, I say that's great. There's nothing that in Linux or any of the desktop environments that's stopping them.
Has anybody ever had a Windows PC laptop that has a decent trackpad?
Nope.
I haven't. I haven't used the Surface tablet. Maybe the Surface tablet's it. I don't know.
I mean, I've used touchscreen, and I like touchscreen gestures, but, you know.
I have 3 things to say. Voila, that guy sounds like Eric, and it's a bit like embrace, extend, and extinguish, someone said.
That's what I was worried about, yeah. That's what I think. Zero Lock, you think it's a good thing?
Yes, if the users who are still kind of stuck in a Windows world get used to things like having multiple desktops or package managers, things like that, then it is less of a transition for them to switch over to a different platform.
Get them familiar with the
Easier
concepts.
Conversion, yeah.
I like that.
I really don't think... Well, I can see that, but you have the counter-argument that why should I switch when I have all these features on my Windows box?
And all the programs I like, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, money
maybe
is a pretty decent aspect of
I'm
that.
Curious,
also freedom.
I'm curious about Windows 10 myself. Like, I could see this being a decent version of Windows that finally adds a lot of little things that have bothered me. But for some reason, I don't know. I really wish Microsoft, with all of their money and all of their people and all of their resources, would truly do something innovative. And I'm glad they're adding all this stuff, but I don't know. Something about it feels disingenuous to me. And I don't know if you noticed, but they said power users about 30 times in that 2-minute clip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's clear that they've realized they have screwed up so royally with Windows 8 and that they have to reappeal to the Windows base users because they're the ones that do the implementation. They're the ones that advise the CTOs at companies. They've got to get those people back on board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, Windows 8 really seemed for the dumb not dumb user, but
it was for the tablet.
For a basic user.
Yeah.
And not the advanced.
Not for the enterprise, which is Windows bread and butter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now they're trying to make good.
Real quick, RJP 421 said he has just one finger for Microsoft.
Oh, gee.
What were you going to say, Eric?
I'm thinking, just kind of playing devil's advocate here, and this is something that I've been saying ever since Nadella took over. Is it possible we're seeing a new Microsoft? Is it possible that they're not doing the extend, embrace, extinguish thing? Who knows? We don't know until we see proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And I keep trying to tell myself that I shouldn't be so judgy. I guess I just feel like a part of it is I'm worried that Windows 8 was so obviously a misstep that it was making people look elsewhere. And now Windows 10, by ripping off all of the stuff that people have elsewhere, by taking elements from the Mac and Linux, that kind of will stop that bleeding, which is obviously exactly what they're trying to do. And you might be right, Eric. Maybe they won't care in the end. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Microsoft hearts Linux now. All right, let's shake all this off with our Kickstarter of the week. This one is for the ladies. And you have been such a sport coming in more often. I wanted to have a Kickstarter that was specifically for you. Now that you've started doing Zumba, I think this is a problem that might be beneficial for you. Ooh. Are you ready?
Okay.
Our Kickstarter of the week is called The Undress. Yeah. It's called The Undress. Change your clothes in public without ever getting naked. Are you ready for this? I'll play this. They got a great video. Here's the stats. 3,084 backers right now. A goal of $22,000. They already have $253,000. Yes, with 3 days to go. So they have blown past.
Okay,
the people have responded.
That's over 10 times their goal.
My impression, like just in the description that you've given me and this picture of boobs, is that possibly this is like a full body unitard.
Let's find out. You ready?
That is skin color.
I like where you're going with this. This is good. All right, let's find out, Ange. They got a great Kickstarter video for us. So
okay, I can't wait.
This will have all of the info. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your grand reveal. The Undress. That's what it says. Pledge on Kickstarter, theundress.com.
Like something on a car.
If you're an active woman who enjoys outdoor workouts such as running, swimming, surfing, yoga, or cross-training, ask yourself this.
Or Zumba.
After a workout, have you ever been forced to stay in your sweaty outfit? And if you do happen to change out of your outfit, have you ever been guilty of the dreaded public no-nos?
What?
Like struggling to change under a towel or trying to change in a cramped car?
Hey-o.
How about changing in public restrooms, which are just as unsanitary as they are uncomfortable? Ever change in a porta potty?
Ew.
Maybe you've been so desperate you risked it all. Now imagine how convenient it would be to quickly change from your workout clothes into clean clothes at any time,
it's a wearable
anywhere,
tent.
even in public, without ever getting naked. Sound impossible?
Yes.
We assure you, it's not.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
Hi, I'm April.
Being active ourselves, we were inspired to invent something for all active women that works so well, you can even change clothes easily in a crowded elevator. You'll be covered the whole entire time, and no, it's not a massive blanket, a bag, or a silly portable shower curtain like some other things.
It's elegant, it's practical, and it works every time. It even works while putting on and taking off a sports bra. And ladies, you know this is one of the most difficult items to change in and out of.
That's true.
Interested? April will show you how it works.
I just finished my workout and I want to change out of my sweaty outfit. Instead of changing in a way that could potentially be embarrassing, I use this, the Undress. It looks like an ordinary dress, but it's actually a special dress system that includes 2 side access openings, a slip under front panel, drawstring loop, hook and handle, front inner lining, and other special features.
Holy moly.
I can use the Undress to change from this outfit into a new one.
Wow.
I start by slipping into the Undress and pulling it up to my waist.
All right, here's the details.
With the hook and handle as my guide, I take the slip under front panel and slip it under my sports bra. I then take the drawstring loop, pull it over my head, and yank it tight. Now, using the side access openings, I insert my hands into the Undress and easily remove my shorts. Then I remove my top and my sports bra. And just like that, I'm out of my sweaty outfit, and yes, even out of my sports bra without ever being revealed. Now, to get into my new outfit, I start by putting on my new bottoms underneath the dress.
Hey-o.
Using the same side access openings, I pull my pants all the way up to my waist. We purposefully designed this feature to leave enough material to let you pull items above your waist without being exposed. Imagine trying to do this in a towel or a regular dress. Now I put on my new bra over the front panel, and then my new top over everything. To finish, I pull my drawstring loop from behind my head and, using the hook and handle as a guide, slip the front panel straight through the front of my new outfit and simply allow the dress to fall all the way down to the floor. Voila! I have completely changed clothes without ever getting naked.
All right, what do you think, Ange? Okay, so picture yourself at Zumba. Before you get back in the car, you could change. You wouldn't have to drive home in like a sweaty outfit. And it's going to be cold outside soon. What do you think? I mean, obviously a lot of people, $254,000, have thought this is a pretty darn good idea. Well, Are you skeptical?
I do like the, the whole idea of having the side pockets to pull, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, like, no offense, but she didn't really have boobs. She wore a bra that, like, could go over her head.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I've got something substantial.
That's what I was thinking. That would be the challenge for you because...
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, the idea... What do you think of the idea, though? Impractical or practical? Got to see it to believe it.
I don't know.
People seem to be into it, huh? I don't know. To me, it seems like way too much damn work. For me, it just... Like, because you got to put that thing up your shirt.
But you're right, though.
Head.
No, but you're right. I do get really sweaty at Zumba because it's 45 minutes straight of, this
and then, like, you think about it,
movement. And
like, in a month or two, it's going to be, like, 30 degrees outside.
Well, yeah, and then I go outside, and it immediately makes my clothes cold.
Yeah.
And then I sit on leather.
Right. And then you have to squish that. You have to squish up against that as you drive home.
That doesn't help it dry.
No.
So, yeah, I don't
know. Mumble Room, what would you, what's your sense on this? Maybe it might not be for you, maybe be for a lady friend, but what do you think?
I was thinking of my wife, and she has a similar problem to Angela, and I don't know.
Micah,
I have no opinion, I guess.
Micah too said, I don't know if this would work for all body types, which is a very PC way of saying that.
Shadow thinks it's practical. I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea. I think it's what I found to be funny about it is it seems to be hitting a sweet spot though with that funding. So we'll do you want to back it?
I'm gonna think about it.
Okay, I'll put a link in the show notes.
It has 3 days left, so I will think about it.
Got some time.
What are your
levels?
How do you
there?
get one? Yeah.
What do you have to do to get one?
Yeah.
Looks like you get the Super Shawl Early Bird Special. The Undress receive 1. Oh, those are all gone. That starts at $65, $69, 61 of 1,400 left. You receive the Undress. So at $70.
No.
Not for 70.
No, I could make my own.
Yeah, for 70, I think you could too. But we'll have a link in the show notes if it appeals to any of our audience members out there.
Yep.
You can go check it out. Okay, Ange, that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode of Tech Talk Today. We'll be live one more day this week, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, jblive.tv for that. techtalktoday.reddit.com, techtalktoday.reddit.com, techtalktoday.reddit.com. Boom! 3 times fast. That's where you go to submit stories and conversation to the show. Now, your choice, Angela.
Okay.
Actually, I got an old 1980s Apple commercial that this is the last day you're here this week, so we could play it for you. Since that's kind of your style. Yeah. Mumble Room, thanks so much for being here today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week's episode of Tech Talk Today. Don't forget, on every episode's show page, where the download links are, right below that, are RSS feeds. And you can subscribe and get the show every single day. And it's great for the commute, maybe the workout, if you're active, like our Kickstarter was. And then you don't even have to worry about it. You just get it automatically. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Tech Talk Today. See you right back here tomorrow.
My Apple is my manager.
There are more people in more places doing more things with apples than with any other personal computer in the world.
Apple Computer. Produktionskontrolle ohne den Apple? Unmöglich.
And of all these people using apples, most had never touched a computer before.
This is my apple.
Apple, the most personal computer.